And right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick alongside Alix Steel. We're counting you down to the closing bell. You're here to help take us beyond the bell. It's a global simulcast. Scarlet Fu in the TV studio. Massar and Tim Stenovec in the radio booth. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms. And that includes our partnership with YouTube. Coming off those record highs yesterday, Massar, and coming off a Dow 40,000. I know you were ready to pop the champagne. You always have champagne there at your desk. But it looks like we're not going to close at that level unless there's a big rally here in the next 2 minutes.
Listen, the first hours, the 2 o'clock hour, 3 o'clock hour, like you get a record, you get a record, you get a record. Like that's been our theme all day. But it definitely feels like we're running out of some momentum here. But it's been quite a week if we just step back. Happy talk, isn't that what Jamie Dimon calls? He's a little worried about all of this.
I was surprised to hear his more subdued tone in that interview that he gave. Hey, one thing that I have my eye on because, well, meme stocks are still a thing.
Are they?
Is the air coming out of these meme stocks? Yeah, these aren't two of my decliners, but it's still worth noting that GameStop is down 30%, AMC is down another 15%.
Yeah.
Was it, you blink and you miss the meme stock rally?
I'm kind of surprised it lasted for more than a day, as it was. I thought it would be one day and then game over. Interestingly, for a month in which, the adage is sell and may go away, for the S&P 500, you have every industry group higher except for energy stocks. They're in the red. And in the Russell 2000, you also have every industry group higher. Energy is the laggard there, but within the small cap space, they're up 2%, energy stocks.
And volume really picking up here also as we get into the close. A little heavy trading as we're moments away here.
Yeah, you're still seeing, though, a little bit of buying going on, selling going on in the Treasury space. The VIX subdued here on the day, down back around 12 here, and the dollar relatively unchanged on the day. As far as equities go here, we're not going to get to 40,000 on the Dow. In fact, the Dow flipping into the red here at the closing bell, 39,870. Takes a while for these numbers to settle, but not the 40,000 that we all had printed out our hats for. Down 0.1% on the day. The S&P down 0.2%. The Nasdaq Composite down about 0.3%, and the Russell 2000 down 0.6% to close out the day.
All right, back to the S&P 500 overall. Kind of an even split, a little bit. 224 names gaining ground, you guys, on this Thursday. 276 to the downside, so a little bit more of a slightly risk-offer trade, I guess you could say, a little bit. 3 unchanged here, Scarlett, but kind of an even split.
Yeah, and with the swoon in the last few minutes of the trading day, you have a 10 out of 11 groups in the red. So let's just focus on the green spot right now. That is consumer staples, and that is Walmart primarily. In terms of laggards, consumer discretionary, materials, and industrials each down by at least 2/3 of 1%.
All right, guys, let's get to some of the individual gainers, if we may. Walmart atop that list, number one gainer in the S&P 500. Wait, let me make sure because I thought it moved down to, number one gainer in the S&P 500, finishing just off its highs of the day, a 7% gain, surging, topping $500 billion in market cap for the first time. We know Street very impressed on their earnings, posting stronger than expected first quarter earnings, boosting its annual sales and profit forecast. And talking with our own Jen Bartosh, just talking about, who the Walmart consumer is, folks. It's people making less than 100, some making above 100, but also wealthier. It's kind of a third split, if you will, among those different groups. So it's interesting how the customer, she says, has really changed at Walmart. So really interesting company. Chubb also among the top gainers in the S&P 500, number two gainer, finishing off its highs, but still a 4.7% gain. We learned yesterday, we all did the headlines, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway now has a $6.7 billion stake in Chubb, ending months of suspense over what its mystery position in a financial firm it apparently had been previously kept concealed in regulatory filings. And I know we've got some earnings, so maybe we go there.
Yeah, we got Applied Materials coming out. So earnings per share for the second quarter coming in at $2.09. That definitely did beat estimates. Also net sales beating estimates, coming at $6.65 billion versus estimates. Its semiconductor systems net sales also pretty strong, $4.9 billion. I mean, this tracks, right? Strong chips.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, when they kind of talk about sort of what's driving this here. I mean, I think it's a little bit more broad-based than what we saw from some of the other chip makers. So it's not just about AI and, EVs, if you will, here. They're still kind of pushing the whole Internet of Things things, as well as clean energy as well.
Yeah, and they mentioned all of that in the press release. Applied Materials has the most enabling portfolio. That's interesting. I've never heard that term. For chips that underpin tectonic shifts in technology, including AI, Internet of Things. Are we still talking about that? Electric vehicles and clean
I got to
energy.
tell you guys,
That's funny.
I can't get my washing machine to connect to the internet.
Yeah, that's the Internet of
because
Things.
It's not
you're
working.
missing out, Tim.
Why do we
Why do we need that? Why do we need that?
I don't know, but it's not working.
Agree.
I mean,
So I don't even know why we need it because I can't connect it.
okay, well, fix that because I'd like to know why I need that
That's,
now.
I would like to know as well.
They can charge you more money for the, internet-connected washing machine.
Toothbrushes
Still- it
connected
still
to the
washes
internet.
clothes.
Why
That's
do we
what's
need an
important.
app to brush our teeth?
Still washes clothes. That's what's
Yeah.
important. Hey, shares of AMAT higher by 0.4% right now. Second quarter adjusted EPS coming in above estimates at $2.09. Second quarter net sales coming in above estimates at $6.65 billion versus estimates of $6.52 billion.
All right. Can I just hit on yields for a second? Let me hit on yields for a second, guys, because it was a big move, and I think it's worth talking about. Is you look at the 2-year, yields are up by about 7 basis points, and I bring this up specifically because we broke through the 250-day moving average yesterday on that super solid buying, and now we're just back above those levels. So I think it's interesting that we're going to get sort of the range-bound yield momentum here, but higher yields not a problem for the equity market.
And I was looking through WERP earlier because I was like, given all that's happened this week and over the last week and a half, that there must be a huge repricing in terms of Fed expectations, and you're really not seeing it. I mean, it's just kind of like you have some tweaks around the margins, but for the most part, everyone still is kind of in the same camp that they've been in now, at least for the last 3.5 weeks.
Hey, I know we're still waiting on some other earnings, including Take-Two Interactive. In the meantime, I do want to touch on some of the decliners that I had my eye on this Thursday afternoon. Not any meme stocks, but I do want to talk about John Deere because it is the world's biggest farm machinery maker. Shares fell 4.74%. The company did reduce its profit outlook for the year. Annual projections missed the average analyst estimates. Actually, declining agriculture income pressured the company, and lower grain prices have left its customers, the farmers, with less money to buy those green and yellow machines that Deere makes. Also, Cisco shares, they reported yesterday after the bell. We saw shares pop in the after hours. They did close today lower by 2.7%. The company did give a solid sales and profit forecast for the current quarter. But shares fell after analysts noted that the company's 2025 forecast looks conservative. Under Armour also under pressure today. Actually, at one point was the lowest it's been since 2010. The company said it's restructuring and it's going through a transition period as Kevin Plank, who stepped down from the CEO role back in 2019, came back last month.
I've lost track of how many restructurings they've had.
I know. Well, they gave a full year outlook that also fell short of Wall Street's estimates too. So it's not just the most recent quarter, but also this huge restructuring that they're undertaking.
All right,
2010 lows.
Tough for Under Armour. Hey, guys, I just want to draw your attention to Take-Two Interactive. Man, it's getting slammed in the after hours. All has to do with its forecast. Coming out and seeing fiscal year 25 net bookings, $5.55 billion to $5.65 billion. The estimate was much above that, $6.92 billion on the street. So, yeah, some disappointment. Stock right now, Scarlet down about 9.3% here in the aftermarket.
Yeah, and it's really on that forecast. The net bookings coming in lighter than anticipated. First quarter net bookings, $1.2 billion to $1.25 billion. Analysts were looking for $1.26 billion. For the full year net bookings, really coming in light. Also worth mentioning here that the fourth quarter numbers, the quarter that passed, includes a $2.18 billion goodwill impairment. I wonder if that is tied to Zynga and the purchase there and how that hasn't really played out for Take-Two. We already know that it said it's cutting 5% of jobs, it's streamlining titles, it's really embarking on this cost-cutting program as it, of course, still moves forward with the release of Grand Theft Auto 6, which has now been narrowed, the release date to fall 2025.
They do say those results, impairment charges, as you said, for acquisition-related intangible assets and business reorganization expenses of about $146 million to our cost reduction programs.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think we have to dig a little bit deeper into that. But I was just going through, too. I mean, we go through, because everyone's sort of obsessed on these launch dates here. Okay, so Scarlett's got her GTA in fall 2025, which probably means like summer 2027 here. But some of the other names they're listing, they've got a lot slated for fiscal 2025, which is really just right around the corner for them here. And that includes the new NBA game, the new WWE, Game of Thrones Legends, which I didn't know they were doing, and a couple others. But the question is, how are they going to get all this stuff out within that same time frame when they always have trouble just getting one thing out within that time frame?
It's a good question. Yeah. Maybe that's why the stock's reacting the way it is.
Interesting. I'm all for the Game of Thrones. What was it? Game of Thrones what?
Game of Thrones Legends.
Yeah, okay. All right, I can get on board with that.
Is the timing of that strange to you guys? the Game of Thrones game?
Why?
Because Game of
But you mean
Thrones was
late?
on years ago. I
It
know
takes
there's,
a long time to develop these games, apparently.
Which I think
I
is the
don't know.
point, because it takes so much money and long and time and talent to actually have to get the things up and running.
But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not in a position to make decisions on gaming franchises, but it just seems like that. I mean, I haven't seen Game of Thrones yet. I'm a little behind, but
there you
there
go.
Whoa,
Okay,
whoa.
dude.
I know there's
you
spin-offs,
can't participate
too.
in this combo now.
I know. I don't. My washing machine
Cut 'em
doesn't.
off.
My washing machine doesn't connect to the internet, and I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
All right,
What's
guys.
wrong with me?
Are they related?
Maybe.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Our cross-platform coverage, radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals. The team will see you again, same time, same place tomorrow.